Welcome back into the Cowboys fans, everyone. Here with a tough update that, unfortunately, isn't the kind of news we like delivering, but it's our job to cover everything, the good and the bad, when it comes to America's team. Over the weekend, KaVontae Turpin, wide receiver and dynamic return specialist for the Dallas Cowboys, was arrested. He's now facing charges for possession of marijuana under 2 ounces and unlawful carrying of a weapon, both considered misdemeanors, but still serious enough to draw attention from both the NFL and the Cowboys organization. It's frustrating. You just want to get through the July 4th weekend, clean, no headlines, no arrests, just football on the horizon. But here we are. Now let's be clear, this isn't some major felony case, but it is yet another example of a player making a mistake that could have easily been avoided. According to available details, it seems like the weapons charge may be tied to licensing or permit issues. Nothing suggests violence or malicious intent, but the fact remains. This is a bad look for Turpin and a disappointing situation for the team. It's especially unfortunate because Turpin had just signed a new 3-year contract worth up to $13.5 million, with $5 million guaranteed. That was a huge moment for him, a player who had worked his way up from lower leagues and international play into a featured role on an NFL roster. To get arrested so soon after that, especially given his troubled past, raises fair questions about judgment, maturity, and accountability. For those who might not remember, Turpin wasn't exactly a clean prospect coming into the NFL. Back in his college days at TCU, he was dismissed from the program after multiple off-the-field incidents, including 2 domestic violence cases, that led to legal consequences and him being booted from the team. He eventually struck plea deals in both cases and underwent intervention programs. Those events forced him into the USFL, where he rebuilt his football reputation, and to his credit, up until this weekend, he had seemingly done everything right since then. Coaches liked him. Teammates respected his work ethic. But it's moments like this one that remind you how quickly perceptions can shift. Fans and teams alike are forced to ask, is this just a misstep or a sign of more trouble to come? From a disciplinary standpoint, let's talk about the possible fallout. Right now, I don't think this incident will lead to a suspension under the NFL's current personal conduct policy. As of 2025, the league has essentially stopped suspending players for marijuana-related issues unless they're repeat offenses with aggravating circumstances. The more likely scenario is that Turpin will now be placed into the NFL's testing program, where he'll face stricter oversight and potential fines if another issue arises. As for the gun charge, similar recent cases like the one involving Jameson Williams didn't result in suspensions, so there's some precedent for leniency. Still, the Cowboys organization may impose their own internal discipline. Whether it's a fine, a private meeting with leadership, or even a short-term demotion in training camp reps, there will almost certainly be some consequences even if we, the public, don't hear the details. What really adds salt to the wound here is the timing. Cowboys coaches, especially Brian Schottenheimer, were probably hoping for a calm, focused build-up to training camp. Instead, now there's a distraction, and one that absolutely didn't need to happen. Schottenheimer will be asked about this during the first press conference when camp opens, and you can bet he won't be thrilled. He'll likely say they've addressed it internally, that Turpin understands he made a mistake, and that they're moving forward, but the tone will say it all. Coaches hate this kind of stuff because it takes away from the focus on football. Especially when a guy like Turpin was set to have an increased role in the offense, and now people are wondering whether he's reliable enough to trust. Let's circle back to the contract details for a moment. while some media outlets ran with the headline 3 years, $18 million. That's misleading. The real value of the deal is closer to $13.5 million, with most of the guaranteed money landing in 2025. After that, it's mostly non-guaranteed, incentive-laden salary, meaning the Cowboys can move on from Turpin fairly easily if they choose to. His salary jumps from $3.1 million this year to $4.7 million in 2026 and 2025. $7 million in 2027, with manageable dead cap hits along the way. Incentives are tied to things like 40 catches, 500 receiving yards, and so on benchmarks he hasn't reached in his NFL career so far. So, while the deal looks big on paper, the Cowboys protected themselves. This latest incident doesn't void anything yet, but it certainly gives the team more reason to pause if his performance doesn't back it up. Now, let's talk football. Despite this arrest, Turpin is still a roster lock in my eyes, at least for now. He brings elite speed, return skills, and schematic flexibility. The Cowboys want to get the ball in his hands, and the new kickoff rules may give him even more opportunities in the return game. Offensively, however, his role remains murky. We've been hearing for 2 off-seasons now that Turpin is going to be used more, but it never really materializes. He had just 47 touches last year, despite the team experimenting with jet sweeps, bubble screens, and end-arounds. The pieces are in place for him to be used as a gadget guy, but it comes down to actual play calling. This year, with CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jonathan Mingo, and Jalen Tolbert ahead of him on the depth chart, Turpin may still be an afterthought, unless Schottenheimer truly commits to using him creatively. So that brings us to the emotional takeaway here. I'm not furious at KaVontae Turpin, but I am disappointed. You root for a guy like this, undersized, overlooked, out of the league for a while, battling his way back into relevance. He earns a deal. He finds a home in Dallas. He gets praised by teammates and coaches. And then this? It's just not smart. And like I've said before, my old high school teacher had the best rule in life: don't be a dumbass. That's really what this comes down to. You have to be smarter, especially in a league like the NFL, where opportunities are limited and careers can end with one poor decision. Turpin still has time to get it right, but he used up some goodwill this weekend, and whether he likes it or not, people will be watching him closer than ever now. So I want to hear from you, Cowboys Nation. How disappointed are you in Turpin on a scale from 1 to 10? Do you think he deserves another shot, or are you over it already? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you're still hopeful for his growth both on and off the field, let us know. We'll have updates throughout training camp, any further legal developments, and of course, keep breaking down this roster as the 2025 season gets closer. Thanks for tuning into today's Cowboys Report. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you again soon. Let's hope this is the last off-field drama for a while. Go, Cowboys!